Welcome to Turn the Page, page 11. I am the Reverend Dr. Frank Balgeman, physicist, minister, and your host through this podcast series where faith meets modern life here in Colorado Springs. We mostly tackle profound questions, but occasionally we'll shift gears to incorporate something on the lighter side. Today, I count down the 10 most influential people in human history. I will group a few names together into one category on two occasions. I hope that isn't annoying. Here we go with number 10. Number 10, Alexander the Great, 356 to 323 BC. He connected the world. At just 32 years of age, Alexander had built an empire stretching from Greece to India. But his real genius wasn't military. It was cultural. Like ancient globalization on steroids, Alexander didn't just conquer territories, he fused civilizations. His policy of adopting local customs while spreading Greek culture created the Hellenistic world, a cosmopolitan blend that would dominate for centuries. Because of Alexander, a merchant in Afghanistan, for example, could discuss Aristotelian philosophy. A sculptor in Egypt could carve in Greek style, and scholars in India could access Greek mathematical concepts. He founded over 20 cities, creating a network of knowledge centers that preserved and transmitted learning across continents. Alexander's influence echoes through time in ways that most people don't realize. The New Testament was written in Koine Greek, the common tongue that his conquests spread. Islamic scholars preserved Aristotle's works partly because Alexander had planted Greek learning in regions that would later become centers of Islamic civilization. Every time the East meets the West in a peaceful exchange rather than mutual incomprehensibility, Alexander's ghost smiles. Number 9, Caesar Augustus, 63 BC to 14 AD. He was the architect of imperial order. Augustus didn't just found the Roman Empire, he invented the template for running a superpower. While Julius Caesar grabbed headlines with dramatic conquests and his assassination, Augustus did something more impressive. He created lasting peace and prosperity across the Mediterranean world for 200 years. The famous Pax Romana. Think of Augustus as history's greatest systems architect. He transformed a chaotic republic into a smoothly functioning imperial machine. His administrative innovations, professional armies, standardized currency, efficient road network, legal codes, they became the gold standard for governance. Augustus's master stroke was cultural. He understood that empires built on force alone crumble. So he created an imperial ideology that made Roman rule seem not just inevitable, but beneficial. His census counted 5 million Roman citizens, but his real achievement was making millions more want to become Romans. His influence permeates modern government. There's the separation of powers, professional civil service, infrastructure investment. Every time a nation builds highways or establishes welfare programs or projects power globally while maintaining domestic order, they're following Augustus's playbook. Number 8, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle taken together, 5th and 4th century BC. The Trinity who taught humanity how to think. No three people have done more to shape human thought than this philosophical power trio from ancient Athens. They didn't just ask big questions. They invented the methods we use to find answers, creating the intellectual DNA of Western civilization. Let's start with Socrates, 470 to 399 BC. He was the ultimate disruptor, questioning assumptions and exposing contradictions. The Socratic method remains the foundation of education, law, and scientific inquiry. Every time a teacher asks, "But why do you think that?" Socrates lives. Plato, 428 to 348 BC. He built systematic philosophy around his teacher's questions. He established the first university and created the concept of abstract thinking. His theory of forms proposed that behind our messy physical world lies a realm of perfect, eternal ideas, a notion profoundly influencing religion, mathematics, and science. And finally, Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC. He was the master synthesizer who organized virtually all human knowledge into systematic categories. He invented formal logic, established scientific methodology, and created frameworks for understanding everything from ethics to biology. Medieval scholars called him simply the philosopher. So taken together, this trinity established that human reason could tackle any problem and that questioning is more valuable than accepting easy answers. They created the intellectual foundation for all subsequent thought. Number 7, Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955. He rewrote reality. Einstein didn't just discover new facts about the universe. He fundamentally changed what we mean by the word fact. His theories of relativity shattered common sense notions of space, time, and reality, revealing a cosmos where time slows down, space curves, and energy and matter are interchangeable. Before Einstein, the universe seemed predictable and mechanical. After Einstein, reality became relative and mysterious. His equation, E equals mc squared, revealed that matter and energy are different forms of the same thing, leading to both nuclear power and nuclear weapons, fundamentally altering a human destiny. Einstein transformed how we think about thinking itself, making imagination a scientific tool. Culturally, he became the archetypal genius, bridging technical expertise and public engagement. His pacifism and civil rights advocacy demonstrated that great scientists have moral responsibilities. Einstein is the face of the modern world. Number 6, St. Paul of Tarsus, 5 BC to 65 AD. He globalized a Christianity. Paul transformed Christianity from a small Jewish reform movement into a universal religion that would reshape human civilization. His revolutionary insight was that Jesus' message wasn't just for Jews, but for all humanity. By arguing that Gentiles didn't need to follow Jewish law to become Christians, Paul opened the floodgates. His missionary journeys established Christian communities from Jerusalem to Spain, creating a network that would outlast the empire itself. Paul was more than a traveling preacher. He was Christianity's deepest Christ-centered theologian. His letters established core Christian doctrines about salvation, grace, and the nature of the crucified Christ. Paul's cultural impact is staggering. His emphasis on equality, neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, that planted seeds that would bloom into human rights movements. Every hospital, university, and charitable organization with Christian roots traces back to Paul's vision of a faith in action. Number 5, Isaac Newton, 1642 to 1727. The mind who discovered the universe's operating system. Newton didn't just figure out why apples fall. He uncovered the secret code running the entire universe. His laws of motion and universal gravitation revealed that the same forces governing earthly objects also control planets, stars, and galaxies. For the first time, the cosmos became comprehensible and unified under mathematics. Newton showed that a single set of equations could predict both a cannonball's trajectory and a comet's orbit. He invented calculus along with Leibniz, revolutionized optics, established the scientific method combining mathematical theory with experimentation. But Newton's greatest achievement was psychological. He convinced humanity that reason could unlock nature's secrets. The Enlightenment, the Industrial Revolution, and the modern scientific worldview, they all flow from Newton's demonstration that the universe operates according to discoverable laws. He gave humanity the power, for better or worse, to become cosmic engineers. Number 4. Moses, 1392 to 1272 BC, the lawgiver who revolutionized human morality. Moses introduced revolutionary concepts that fundamentally changed how humans think about law, morality, and divine justice. The Ten Commandments, they represent the foundation of ethical monotheism and the Western legal tradition. Before Moses, gods were typically gods with a small g. They were typically tribal, petty, and amoral. Moses revealed the radical idea of one universal God who cares about justice, mercy, and moral behavior. The Mosaic Law established principles revolutionary for their time: equal worth of all people before divine law, social justice, and the idea that even rulers are subject to higher moral authority. Moses' influence radiates through Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, shaping over 4 billion lives today. The American legal system, with its emphasis on written law and constitutional limits on power, traces directly to Mosaic principles. Moses transformed human understanding of a justice from might makes right to right makes might. Number 3, Muhammad, 570 to 632 AD, the prophet who united and transformed 2 continents. Muhammad achieved something unprecedented. He united the fractious Arab tribes under a new faith and set in motion conquests, creating one of the world's largest empires within a century. But his influence extends beyond military success. He reshaped law, science, culture, and spirituality across vast regions. Islam provided a comprehensive blueprint for individual and social life. The emphasis on education, scientific inquiry, and social justice created a golden age when Islamic scholars preserved Greek philosophy, developed algebra, pioneered medicine, and made astronomical discoveries. Muhammad was simultaneously prophet, lawgiver, military commander, statesman, allowing him to create a self-sustaining civilization. Today, Islam is the world's fastest growing religion with nearly 2 billion followers, continuing to shape modern political movements and institutions across continents. He deserves position number 3. Number 2, Adam and Eve, the beginning of revealing the story of the cross. Adam and Eve are the beginning of something. The image of God, visible and standing on planet Earth, executing the foundational, foreshadowing pieces of the cruciform God. That's what Adam and Eve are doing. Adam and Eve, let's start with Adam. Adam as the raised up memorial, and Eve as the violently punctured yet nurturing curse, together manifest the image of the crucified God, the moment his story, the story of Jesus Christ, becomes historical. Adam and Eve and the knowledge of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil intertwined on one central tree, that's the cross of Christ. Their eyes being opened in death, that's seeing reality through the eyes of the dying Christ, becoming like God in an act that seems to draw God's disapproval. That's Good Friday. The first two humans are living the life of Christ while disclosing in their unique way, the way we all will have our turn at doing, what part of the life of the crucified God they have been ordained and honored to reveal in history. Adam and Eve are the first two. The beginning of the passage of time unrolling eternity's narrative. What happens to Adam and Eve will be replayed in the lives of Cain, Abel, Seth, and every other human being. They are the only two people whose lives directly influence everyone, except for the man in the number one spot. Adam and Eve are the temporal faces of humanity's unity. Adam and Eve are the historical beginning of turning our eyes to number one, the man inside of whom the first 9 entries and all 9 billion of us reside. On to number one. Number one, Jesus Christ. No beginning, no end. The God humanity who is history himself. No single person has influenced human history more profoundly than Jesus of Nazareth. His impact is so fundamental that we literally date history from his birth. This isn't merely a Christian bias. It reflects the objective reality that Jesus' life represents the greatest turning point in human civilization. The cross is the moment when every event gathers to see itself for what it has always been. History is naked, exposed, transforming the ciphertext of history into the plain text of God's eternal image and plan by way of the key of the cross of Christ. Western civilization is incomprehensible without a Jesus. The university system, hospitals, orphanages, and charitable organizations, those largely originated in Christian communities. Art, literature, music, philosophy have been profoundly shaped by Christian themes and imagery. Legal concepts like human rights, equality before the law, and the inherent dignity of every person, those trace directly to Jesus' revolutionary claim that every human being is beloved by God and part of his body. Jesus' method was as revolutionary as his message. He taught in parables, simple stories with profound meanings that could be understood by both peasants and philosophers. He embodied his teachings through radical actions, eating with outcasts, healing on the Sabbath, forgiving enemies, dying on a cross, a narrative powerful enough to transform the Roman Empire from persecutor to patron. No single figure has more profoundly shaped human thought, morality, culture, and civilization than this Jewish teacher whose brief ministry transcended all boundaries of space and time. Jesus represents more than the pinnacle of historical influence. He embodies the essence of human experience itself. His life, death, and resurrection is the template through which all human stories find their meaning. Every great achievement, every noble sacrifice, every moment of courage or creativity reflects aspects of the cross and his character and mission. We live in his crucified universe. His resurrected body on Easter, that was the resurrection of the crucified life. He transferred it into all time and space in the crucified ascension. The gloriously crucified life is present in the explorer charting unknown territories, the artist capturing beauty on canvas, the scientist unlocking nature's secrets, and the ordinary person living with quiet dignity, from the revolutionary who challenges injustice to the parent who loves unconditionally. All human experiences participate in the larger cruciform narrative he embodies. History itself becomes his story, a crucified produced drama of creation, fall, redemption, and restoration that gives coherence to the seemingly random events of human civilization. Every breakthrough in knowledge, every advancement in justice, every expression of love points back to the fundamental truth he revealed about the cross-centric nature of God and humanity. In this light, ranking historical figures becomes almost arbitrary, like ranking the importance of body parts. Abraham, Buddha, Confucius, Gutenberg, Darwin, Marx, Copernicus, Constantine, Washington, Galileo, Luther, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Churchill, Cyrus the Great, Franklin, Solomon, each have left indelible marks on human history. Their contributions find their ultimate significance within the overarching crucified life of Jesus. To understand history is to understand how one life, shining its brightest on Good Friday, displaying the image of God and the organizing principle of human participation in that life, is the crucified lens through which we interpret meaning, purpose, hope, and the foundational reality of God Almighty. We are all influential inside of the body of Christ. Thank you.